94, sorry. He's not that old, I guess. 94. And Coach of the Year. And so welcome. He's known Sean since he's little. Sean played for his brother growing up. And so that'll be a good chance to talk about, I'll let these guys kind of handle question and answers from you guys about, playing sports or whatever you like doing. So leave it open.
Great. Thank you, Anil. Thank you, everybody. If I may, and a lot of people have forgot this today, even some of my family, to make things kind of friendly, it's my birthday today.
Happy birthday!
I'll take them from everybody. Because I woke up this morning, I walked out of my house, and I was like, well, people forget along the way, so that's okay. Thank you so much, Anil, for inviting me. Anil and I go way back. I mean, we haven't spoke to each other in probably, I'd say 15 years or so. And a friend of mine, John Doyle, and myself, we grew up playing soccer together in Fremont, California, which is where Sean grew up and Anil lives. And when we got to our 20s, we used to do soccer camps at Christmas time for kids in our area, kind of a little bit of giving back to the community. And we met Anil and his daughter, and then also Sean along the way. And, obviously, along the way of those meetings and talking with Anil, he told me about what was going on with Sean and the situation with his dysplasia. I thought, for me, it's always more than impressive when I see children who have a certain situation that may work against them as far as sports go, are not bothered by it, actually embrace it, are not afraid to talk about it. And when I saw Sean about, 7 or 8 years later, playing for my brother at high school, it really touched me. And I thought it was really nice that didn't let it bug him. He actually was a very good soccer player. My brother spoke very highly of him. And my brother, as you know, Sean, wasn't the easiest guy to play for. He was a tough coach. I think all the Kinnears, my father was a soccer coach, and my brother, and then myself became a coach. And it's kind of funny, this brings back good memories for me. And he always said, he doesn't say a word, he comes to practice every day, he tries hard every day, or as hard and harder than anybody, every day when he plays, and you can tell that he enjoys it. And that, for me, is the best thing about sports. I grew up playing soccer. I grew up in Fremont, California. I dreamed one day about being a professional soccer player. Luckily for me, that became true. I now live about 25 minutes away from here. No, you wouldn't know the traffic that I had to battle through to get here. But when Anil emailed me and asked me to come out and speak to you guys, obviously I didn't know it was going to be, what type of format it was going to be, but I figured, what the heck. Haven't seen him in a while. I do keep in touch with a friend of his, and obviously I wanted to see how Sean was. And along the way, Anil sent me a great email explaining what Sean's been doing. Went to Berkeley, works for Electronic Arts, is engaged to a nice young lady I can see over there. And when I look at him, I'm a little bit jealous because he's in a heck of a lot better shape than I am. But it's just impressive when you see something like that happen. It's a pleasure standing next to you, Sean. It really is. I'm not saying this because I'm standing here in front of all you guys. There are always obstacles in everybody's life. Sometimes physical, sometimes there's family. I always think the physical ones are the hardest ones to overcome because sometimes you're not given a fair chance. Sometimes people may prejudge you. And I think what Sean has done is not only a great story, but it's an inspiration to you guys standing here about what this guy has done, this young man has done, obviously with the support of a great family, and coming to these conferences and sharing his story and being around people in the same situation that he's in. Like I said, it gives me great joy to be able to talk to you, not only as a group, but have Sean stand here at my side. Because when I look at this person, he's not that young 12-year-old boy, 17-year-old young man that's kicking the ball around a soccer field. I look at a man who's mature, who's done some great things in his life, and is here. That's why I said when he walked in there, I said, "Oh, you're the veteran here. You've been through many of these conferences." And he said, "Yeah, I kind of have been." So I think to have him here, not just me talking, which, I mean, I can say whatever I want to say, and I think to have someone who lives a life, who's lived the life that you guys live, and to succeed and to stand here before you is a great inspiration. So I thank you, Anil. I really do. It was from the first beginning, I wondered what was going to happen when I came here today, and as I got closer to the room and I heard the noise and I heard the enthusiasm and the youthful exuberance, it kind of made me feel like, getting here was well more than worth it. I deal with young men / children every day, and it's a great thing. if I may, and this is by no means any comparison to you guys, but the only thing I can think of is like overcoming odds to going to great things. I've been a professional soccer coach now for about 13 years, 10 as a head coach, 2 of the San Jose Earthquakes in San Jose, California, and now it's my 8th season as the head coach of the Houston Dynamo here. We had 2 players, and one was a local kid called Stuart Holden, who grew up in the Sugar Land area, if you guys know where Sugar Land is, anybody. I had no idea who this player was. He was a young kid who went to college and then tried a professional career. Didn't really happen for him. And so someone tapped me on the shoulder one day and said, hey, there's a player that I have that you may know or you may not know. Would you like to give him a chance? And I said, sure, we'll give him a chance. And I had no idea who this player was. This player came to us kind of unknown, really had to prove himself, really had to work harder than anybody else out in the field. This player now plays for the United States national team. He plays for the Bolton Wanderers in England. He's one of our best players, and I wish he was here today because his communication with young children and overcoming odds, it's more than inspiring. Another player, and Sean may know these guys, I don't know if you keep up with the U.S. teams, a player called Jeff Cameron, who played in the Houston Dynamo, was a 3rd-round draft pick. You guys that kind of understand professional and college sports, 3rd-round draft pick. No one knew who he was. We didn't even know who he was, but we gave this kid a chance because we thought he showed some promise. Years later, we sold this, or just actually about a year ago, we sold this player for millions of dollars to a team over in England. So in no way can it compare with what you guys are dealing with every day with your dysplasia and your condition. But by giving a chance and by living a dream and by being focused, you guys could do anything. Like I said, I can't believe I'm standing here next to Sean all these years later. I think about the kid that was running around the soccer field up at Ohlone College, the local community college, to the kid that was playing at Mission San Jose High School for my brother, to the man who's standing here now. It's amazing what happens in life. But I think if you were to ask Sean, and please feel free to ask questions, he was probably a driven person, wanted to do something with his life, and didn't bother him what he was living with. And Anil sent me some great stories about how Anil would come with a bucket of water at soccer tournaments that Sean would stand in to keep himself cool, to make it worthwhile for him to play. And I can't imagine what you went through, Anil, but I'm sure the sacrifice is great. You're standing here with all these kids, especially one being your son. It's incredible, and I feel totally honored to be standing here talking to you. I thank you for your time as I do with any group. And now, the Houston Dynamo hopefully is a part of your conversation, where if someone says, hey, there's a soccer team in Houston, you guys know who we are. Love to be able to maybe connect again, Anil, in the near future, because things like this really bring you home. My home is Fremont, California, always will be, and that's where we kind of connected. And obviously, 20 plus years later, you're kind of in my secondary home here in Houston. But never forget the people who I grew up with and lived with and coached with and played soccer with. And obviously, Sean is one of those people along with his father. So, Sean, if you want to say something, or if you just want to open up the question and answer, that's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I mean, met Dominic when I was young and played, and it was just one of those experiences where, I'm sure you guys do this, I know a lot of you guys here all play sports and do activities, and there's no reason you can't try anything or do any of that stuff. Like, I really, really recommend, if it's something that looks interesting to you or looks exciting, give it a shot. Even if there's going to be heat issues or other issues you encounter, they're surmountable. You can find a way to deal with it. And if it's a heat problem, there's ways to cool down. There's always ways to do that. Like, the big thing I want to say is don't let anything that's going on stop you from trying something. You can actually do a lot more than you think. So that would be my suggestion. If you guys want to have any questions, talk about anything.
You guys know what soccer is?
Yeah, that's the answer to my first question.
I know, right?
Has anybody ever seen a professional soccer game or know about the World Cup or anything? Does anybody play soccer in here? Yeah.
Big hands, big hands.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you guys a question? Who's your favorite soccer player, if you pay attention to soccer?
No, I don't have it yet.
You don't have a favorite player just yet? You had your hand up over here. You have a favorite soccer player?
My brother does.
Oh, you
Van Persie.
Robert Van Persie, yeah. Wonderful player, yeah, that's great. For those of you who don't know soccer, it's a game of endurance. There's a lot of running in it, and that's why I was talking so highly of Sean, because I know with his probably not being able to sweat and cool down, it can cause a bit of a problem, but I think he made some sacrifices. and was really disciplined in what he wanted to do. I think he makes a great point. Don't let anything stand in your way or anybody stand in your way. Obviously, I grew up a little bit different, but I still had a dream of being something, and nobody could stand in my way. And I think if you guys have that focus and that desire and that discipline, I think that you guys can do things that there's nothing that can stand in your way. Yeah?
I have a question. How do you prevent overeating?
You can basically do some things to prepare for it beforehand. Like a lot of it is before I'll start playing, I'll try to wet myself first. So as my dad said, the bucket became a pretty good way to go. Have like a painter's bucket full of water, stand in it with my cleats, soak my jersey, go play it for like 20 minutes. I'd warm up, I'd kind of dry off, sub out, do it again, get back on the field, and just kind of go back and forth. I mean, at some point, like for me, I have HED. I'm going to overheat no matter what to some capacity. And so the most I can do is try to get closer to like being in a pool. Like the more wet I can get, the more wet I can keep on me. Usually that is. I've played a couple different sports too, and some things are easier than others. A lot easier for soccer or track. A little harder for roller hockey or basketball. Some of those indoor things with you're on a court, you can't really get the floor wet. So there's ways around it, but you just got to be kind of creative with it.
That's a great question, by the way, too. Anybody else have a question? How long are you guys here for? Anybody local? Anybody from Houston, Texas in the room? Oh, wow, lots of them. Have you heard of the Houston Dynamo?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say hello. What other sports do you guys play?
Baseball.
Softball.
Softball. Lacrosse?
Yeah.
Lacrosse is a good one.
Volleyball.
Softball and volleyball? Excellent. Hockey's great.
Football.
Yeah. Where do you, you're local, right? Where do you live?
I live in Missouri City.
You do? So do I. Whereabouts in Missouri City? Whereabouts in Missouri City?
Plantation Settlement.
Plantation Settlement? Wow, that's really close. I live in Sienna Plantation. You know where that is?
Yeah, my friend lives there.
Yeah? Yeah, right on. See? How about that? Missouri City, right on.
Now you have to go to a Dynamo game. You know that,
You
right?
have to go to a Dynamo. Right? What grade are you in?
I just finished 4th.
You just finished, you going in the 5th, huh? Yeah, I have a daughter very similar age than you. That's wonderful. Did you know what school your friend goes to? No, but she lives in Sienna Plantation? Do you know what her name is?
Emma.
Emma? Emma what?
Emma York.
Emma York? I'm going to ask to see if my daughter knows who she is. You guys, maybe they might go to the same school, I'm not too sure. You guys Astros fans, all the locals? Houston Astros, yes?
No.
Right at the Astros? Oh, we know they're not doing so good, but we have to support them, right? Yes, Texans are good. Yeah. What other states what other states are you guys from out here? Yes. Georgia? Awesome. Yeah.
Colorado.
Colorado's great place. Oklahoma? Maryland? Florida? Florida. I see your shirt there. Very proud. Do you live in Gainesville?
Tampa.
In Tampa? I used to live in Tampa. I lived in Tampa for about 3 years in the late 90s. Whereabouts you live?
St. Pete area.
Okay.
St. Petersburg.
What's better beach, St. Pete or Clearwater?
I work on St. Pete, so I don't have to say St.
That's great. That's great. You got any questions at all? Anything? What's your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math? Social studies?
Humanity.
What's that? Humanities? Music.
Sports.
Good one.
Athletics.
Anybody for PE?
Athletics.
Yeah?
Basketball. I have a question.
Yes.
Was it hard for you to pass the counts or no?
Yeah, sometimes it was hard. I mean, it would get really hot. Maybe not quite as hot as it got here all the time. It wasn't as humid, but it'd be 100 degrees or so, and you're running around the whole game, and so it's difficult to try to get that working. So that's why I try to cool down beforehand. Like if I poured water all over me, and I'd run around, and the breeze would feel nice and cool me down.
Do you sweat?
No, I don't
My
sweat.
sister doesn't sweat. You know, she can't be in the sun for too long, or she'll have a
Yeah, it can be hard, but if you get
Possible.
It's possible. It hasn't happened to me before, but I think like as your sister gets older, it's going to get easier for her to deal with that.
Yeah.
She'll start to understand like when it's about to happen, prevent it more, which is a lot of it, even with sports too. Like the hardest thing I had when I was younger is you don't want to get off the field. You're playing, you're doing whatever sport you're doing, you want to keep playing. But if you're having heat issues, it's usually if you actually stop for a little bit, go cool off, then go back out there. Whereas if you play too long, then you might not be able to play the rest of the game. So.
Okay.
I have a question for Sean. Can I ask a question, Sean? You still play sports?
Yeah,
You still play soccer?
I do.
He works out. Can you tell?
Yes.
Can you tell he works out? Anything else besides those two?
Rock climbing.
Rock climbing? See, so there you have it.
Where do you rock climb? In Houston?
I live in California.
Oh, never mind. Wait,
I do mostly like indoor gym climbing.
Yeah, because
There's no rock climbing in Houston.
No, there's Texas Rock Gym.
Huh? Indoor, yeah. There's
Yeah, well,
nothing
that's what I
outdoor.
meant. There's Texas Rock Gym in
Oh, cool.
Houston, the big giant one. Yeah, they recently opened a new location.
Oh, nice. Do you
Yeah.
climb?
Yeah,
Nice.
but it's there because
Yeah.
My brother has the same form that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And no, he's two. He just got his first two.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Oh, that's exciting.
But he's going to play soccer though, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, you should. You're going to make him. You're the big brother.
He's happy about his new shoes.
Oh, okay.
Learned it today. He was like, I got it, dude.
I think maybe essentially I'll ask Dominic a question because, so who's watching this weekend? The U.S. is in the final
Yes, they're playing Dynamo.
of the Gold Cup. So maybe
Yep.
you can talk, maybe Dominic can talk a little bit. I knew his dad. You might not know, I knew his dad before I knew Dominic. His dad was a coach in the area, so I knew him early on. And what was it like growing up and then going up for the U.S. national team? Kind of like you said, that was a dream for yours. And
Yeah.
I think it's always good to get these guys, I'm sure they understand, you know, this is a player that played at the highest level and played for the country, so it's,
Yeah, it was, like I said, growing up, I was a little bit fortunate. I wasn't born in America. I was born in a country called Scotland. And Scotland is obviously, it's a huge soccer country. So when my family moved to California, but I was only 3 at the time, but I grew up in a very soccer-friendly house. I had 3 older brothers and 1 older sister, and they all played soccer. So for me, it was almost like a monkey see, monkey do type of thing. If they played, I played. Along the way, I got an appreciation for professional soccer. And it was lucky that I had a coach who could not only teach me, but kind of be a good disciplinarian, and boy was he a disciplinarian. Probably he was worse, he was Huey times 2, if that can make any sense. But all I did was wanted to play soccer. I went to a school, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd grade, it kind of tells you where my family was kind of at. And I was lucky enough, I did have talent where I did play on some good teams, and I think it was the 3rd grade my grades started to drop, funny enough. And I went to a Catholic school where there was nuns. I don't know if you guys know what nuns are. And a nun was teaching my class and told my mother, she said, Mrs. Kinnear, if Dominic's grades don't pick up, you're going to have to tell him he can't play soccer. And my mom's reply at the time, which usually parents will say, okay, we got to take the kid away from sports to make sure his grades get up. But my mother actually said to the teacher, well, that's not going to happen because one day he's going to be a professional soccer player. So that was kind of, maybe not funny to you, but it's kind of funny to me over now. But if a teacher said to me about my kids, I'd say, that's it, no soccer, you got to get your grades up. My mom was the opposite, was saying, no, we're not going to take the soccer away from him. I was lucky enough to play professional soccer for a good number of teams. I've traveled around the world. I played soccer in Mexico. I've been to Russia, to Brazil. I've seen some great countries and some great experiences. Has anybody here ever heard of Count Dracula? Vampire, right? Well, it's actually, that's a fictional character, but there was a person who had. I've been to Dracula's castle, which is in the country of Romania. And I've been to Red Square, all because of soccer and of sport. I was lucky enough to play in some wonderful stadiums, play against some great players. And then along the way, and you'll hear me say lucky over and over and over again, because I've been one of the luckiest people in America as far as soccer goes and as far as life goes. I became a soccer coach, and now I'm coaching professionals, and I can still continue my travels. And lucky for me that my schedule gives me time to be around my kids quite a lot. I have 3 children who also play soccer, and it gives me time to go out and be able to coach them sometimes on weekends. So I didn't know you knew my father before you knew me, Neil, but I think if you knew my dad well, he was very strict, very stubborn, you could say, but wanted his kids to live his life a certain way. And I look back on it now, I'm a lot older, and I do appreciate what he did for me. He wasn't the most loving father, wouldn't hug me, wouldn't tell me he loved me, but I think years on down the line, I look back and I think of all the things he did. He showed his love for me in a different way, and I'm a better person because of that. So I love soccer, still do to this day, and I think what my family did for me helped me along the way. And I'm sure Sean can say the same thing about his dad, too.
Are you still playing indoor?
No, I retired. Yeah. How'd you know I played indoor?
I know everything.
I played indoor soccer on a men's team, and it was over 30.